Please design an app for a museum. Museum? I go to all kinds of museums. My favorite museum is British Museum. How would you want me to answer those questions? Design an app for a museum. What's your favorite product? How would you improve it? All those questions are typical product management interview questions. However, those are very difficult to answer because they're not great fixed framework to answer those questions. What if I show you what the best examples how someone already got a product manager job to answer those questions? Today, I'm going to have our guest speaker to do a mock interview with me to show you what the best practices to answer those product management interview case questions. Hey guys, this is drnancyli, a director of product from drnancyli.com. I help engineers and international professionals transition from worker bee to a product manager and business leader. To learn the most effective way to become a product manager, you should subscribe to this channel and turn on the bell button so that you'll be notified every time we'll upload a new video every Monday. Today, we had a pleasure to have Krista with us to do a mock interview. Hi, Krista. Do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Nancy. Hi, everyone. My name is Crystal. I'm currently a product manager at Intuit in their technology for Intuit team. Before product management, I was in consulting, and Nancy's videos really helped me a lot in my PM journey, and I look forward to working with her more.
Awesome. Yeah, something very exciting about Crystal's journey is that she transitioned from consulting into product management, and recently she got actually several product manager offers, and she eventually decided to join Intuit. Today, we really enjoyed having her as our guest to do a mock interview so that we can learn from the best practices in the industry. All right, Krista, are you ready to do a case with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, great. So today's product manager interview is about product manager interview questions and answers theory. I am going to do a product sense interview with Krista. I'm going to give her a case, and we're going to walk through the framework and eventually show some ideas about the MVP. Krista, I have a question for you. So would you please design an app for a grocery store?
Before I go ahead and get started, I just have a few clarifying questions. You mentioned that our goal is to design an app for a grocery store. Who are going to be the main user? Is it going to be, people who work in the store or people who are going into the store to shop?
In this case, we want you to explore who might be the potential end users.
So the end user so far is open-ended. Do we have any information about this grocery store? For example, what type of food or products they sell? Where are they located in the US or in the world?
Great question. You can assume that we are those kind of Whole Foods type of store, but it's not Whole Foods. Assuming that kind of style it's national. They sell almost everything like grocery, vegetables, meat. And they also sell some like fresh produce as well.
And then last question before I go ahead and get started is, what are the business goals of designing this app? Is it to drive kind of new customers coming in or increase, revenue? Do we have any specific business goals?
Great question. Specifically, I believe different company has different business goals. Let's assume we are Facebook. Facebook is mission is to bring people closer to mainly solve problems for end users. So it's less about revenue, it's more about solving the pain point for customers and provide the best user experience and bringing people closer together as a community.
Yeah, that's super important because I think depending on that goal, as you mentioned, revenue is not the main target, then maybe our focus could put a little bit more emphasis on the user experience and also going a little bit deeper into the current pain points that customers or employees have.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Cool. Would you mind giving me 30 seconds to just structure my thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead.
A few moments later.
When I think about designing an app for a grocery store with the end goal of achieving a better user experience, I think about it more cohesively. So first, I kind of divided my end user for this app into two buckets. We may not go into designing an app for both groups initially. However, in the future, we can explore, having this app, having potentially two portals, one for the customers and one for internal employees of this grocery store to really create this cohesive user experience. I think when I think about a grocery store, the best way to divide it is by kind of the user journey. So I divide it into three kind of horizontal lanes. across these two groups. So the first one is before someone goes into a grocery store. The second one is during their experience when they're already in the grocery store. And then the last one is just afterwards, after they leave, what are the things that are happening. And from my perspective, when I design the app, I want to look, at the end-to-end cycle from before to after, and think about all the different types of features that I can create in this app to provide values to both the customers and the employees. So after having this framework, I briefly listed out some of the features or some of the specific steps in that process that I think the app can really add value to. And once we look at that as an overall, we can dive deeper into what are the current pain points and figure out from an MVP standpoint, what are the features that will have the greatest value or the greatest value over efforts ratio. And then we can kind of look at these features as what we want to design into our app in our MVP, and then the rest of features we can worry about them later. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Let me ask you this question. Are you saying that you're going to list all the features first, then you talk about customer pain points, not the other way around? Why?
So not instead of features, I was more thinking about just when I think about experience going to grocery store, what are the components that I can think of? So not features for the app, but for example, when you're at the grocery store already, the two main theme that I wrote down was navigating, like finding stuff, and then checkout experience. So these two are like the sub components within each lane.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So we'll start with the customers because I think the customers will be, there are a lot more of these customers, and then to really enhance their user experience, having that interaction, having that interface with the customer is the most important. So when we think about before going to the grocery store, there's going to be information or promo that's sent to them. They will also want to know about the price and the brand just to make a decision whether or not they want to go into that grocery store. When we look at during their shopping experience, the navigation, the searching for products, and then the checkout experience is three kind of main thing. And then the after, I have listed out kind of review or providing feedback for the products that they have bought, and then preparing for the next time. Either it's already put stuff into the cart, or just looking at some other recommendations. But these are kind of like the main component within that end-to-end process. The employee side, I didn't have too much time to dig into it, but for the employee, I think having information and data is the most important. So when a customer reach out to them, they can help them very quickly, or when they're operating and managing the store, they can use these information to help create a better experience. So for the before part, I have just gathering marketing information to look at the demand and kind of have promotions for the stores. The during lane, I have put kind of monitoring the stock level, the inventory level, and then also navigate, because sometimes a customer will go to an employee for direction. The employee may also doesn't know the answer, so they may need to look up in this app. And then the after one is kind of just adjusting their next season ordering or their supply chain logistics based on these customer reviews or feedback and the sales data.
Great. Can you elaborate more regarding why you prioritize customers versus the people working for the grocery store?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I want to look at it from like another, I guess, mini structure. First, we can think of the number of people that's kind of in each bucket, and then we can also look at the value. And then the third one is kind of onboarding or like implementation timeline if we have the app design. So when I look at number of people, I think the number of customers is usually a lot greater than the employees. So if we're putting all this effort into designing an app, it will benefit the most number of people. So from this number of people standpoint, customer is a better choice than employees. And then the next one I'm looking at is value. Whereas if we design an app for employee, it can help them kind of create this experience for the customer. It's a more indirect way to really hit your target of enhancing your customer experience. Whereas if you have the app to directly interact with the customers, it may be a more easier way for you to test and to see how customers are reacting. So in terms of value proposition, I would say customers is also a better option than the employees. And then the third thing is onboarding. when I think about providing this app for employees, you really need all various type of data points being captured before you can generate any type of useful data insights or accurate information. So the onboarding may take longer because of all these integration you may have to have with the stock system. You will go through a longer onboarding period. However, with the customers, you can start from an MVP and then later roll out more features. So the onboarding time will be a little shorter. So if we're designing an app, we can have it, kind of go live and onboard a bunch of customers and start leveraging the advantages from the very beginning.
Did you make assumption that if we roll out any application for the employees, we need to make it more complete instead of MVP?
Yeah, because going back to my first kind of point about some of these decision points or subcomponents within the process, I think for the employees is more like looking at the data, making decisions, and then kind of helping the store to come up with a go forward plan. So a lot of these rely on these data being available. However, I know these data are currently either captured by some other systems or are not captured at all. So just setting that app for the employees will take longer time to integrate and to implement.
Makes sense. Great. Yeah, let's move on with your next session of your framework.
Mm-hmm. So now after the initial framework, we have decided that designing the apps for the end customers is a better approach to for our phase one. So then I want to dive into looking at the experience, which of these features have the greatest kind of value to efforts ratio that we want to actually develop as a part of our MVP. So when we look at this whole experience, do we have any information on the customers right now? Is there any bottlenecks in the process, or is there any specific complaints or dissatisfaction?
Right now, I don't have data for you. Can you figure out what could be the part the customers didn't have the right information or not satisfied with the entire?
So now if we're kind of gathering and analyzing data to help us figure out which part of the cycle is like the problem area that we really want to target, there are a few things that we can do. So if I think about it as like a tunnel that people are going in and going out, I want to collect such as the numbers of people that are coming into the store at various hours or even various seasons throughout the year to kind of analyze, is this pretty evenly distributed, or if there's any like peak times that a lot of people are coming in to kind of evaluate.
Can you let me know what your goal before you tell me what data would you collect? Because right now, we mentioned earlier, we don't have data to tell what part of the store we are having trouble, but I want you to think about where customer could have the pain point today.
Okay, so we don't have any data and we're not like gonna wait until we collect that data.
Right. I don't have it at all in this case.
Okay.
Yeah. So
then I have to really go, yeah, that's helpful. Then I have to really go from a bottom up approach, because earlier I was thinking about looking at the data and then going deeper, but now I have to go through a bottom up approach, like thinking about me as the customers and then trying to kind of imagine and also have some hypothesis in terms of the pain points.
Yeah.
So I think if I look at the before, during, and after, the during is definitely going to be the main focus, just based on me as a customer. I relatively go look at their website where information before or after I go to the store is mostly when I'm there. And for me as a customer, there are two things that I care about. The first one is kind of speed and efficiency. And then the second one is kind of just helping myself getting information. However, I also know that I only represent a particular segment of the customer. So maybe to get a more holistic view, I would like to segment the customers better and see, based on our brand and our grocery store, which segment may be our main kind of targeted customer segment. So if I think about any kind of consumer products, retail or grocery store, the two main components of a product is price and quality. And if I draw like a matrix or two axes with price and quality, I can divide the customers into different segments that care about different things differently. So if you think about, price as your x-axis and then quality as your y-axis, the top right, which is people who want the highest quality and they don't really care about how much they're spending, let's just call them the luxury shoppers, right? So
Yeah.
these are the people who, have a higher income, don't really care about how much they're spending, but all they want is like better quality groceries. And then the top left, you will have people who want to save, but they also care about the quality. So that's call them the hippie shoppers. And then the bottom left, we have people who don't care about quality at all. All they care about is spending as least as possible. So these we call them the savers. And then the last one, which is really weird, and that probably represent a very small portion, is they like to spend a lot of money, but they don't really care about the quality. So this one, I don't even know if they exist, but that just say that we call them the confused shoppers. I think they don't have enough information.
I like the naming convention, by the way. I like it.
So if we look at these 4 kind of main customer segments, their pain points may be very different. And the features, which is our solutions, may be very different. So going back to the overall context, you mentioned that the grocery store is similar to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
So then our market position is kind of like higher tier. So then I think the hippie shoppers and the luxury shoppers will be the majority of our current customer base.
Yeah.
And then going back to the goal, which is to enhance their user experience instead of like attracting, new customers, then my focus is really going to be on these 2 segments instead of trying to go look for, other opportunities to attract the customer segments that are not in our current customer base.
Yeah.
So the hippie shoppers and the luxury shoppers, if I look at these 2 segments, I can think of some of the pain points or the experience that matter to them. The hippie shoppers, they really care about quality, and they are attracted to, brand marketing messages and just newer SKUs. So one thing that the app can do is really to highlight these products and give them these information that they care about. So right now, I'm just kind of analyzing these 2 customer segments and then having a running list of features and pain points that I'm solving. So the first one is just getting information about new and high quality products. And then the feature that I have is to have regular kind of marketing catalogs to show them, for example, some of the shopping apps that we always see is like new, there's a segment for like all the new products. Maybe there's a segment for ethically sustainable products or things like that to kind of give them the information and the product information that they want. So the second pain point for the hippie shopper would be kind of getting recommendations based on what they like or what they have bought before. So the feature will be kind of using algorithm or using current data to provide recommendations to these shoppers.
Are you saying this is a feature request or this is a pain point?
So the pain point is don't know what other new stuff to try out. And then the feature would be in your app, you will get a recommendation based on what other people similar to you have bought or based on market trends.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
For the hippie shopper, that's the 2 that I have right now. Maybe we can go back to it later, but for the luxury shoppers, I would like to see their pain points and then some of the features that can solve that. So for the luxury shoppers who don't care about price, but they do care about the quality. So the pain point that they have is sometimes is harder to differentiate the quality of the products while they're in the store. So hard to tell the quality.
Right,
Especially because there's so many like different choices and brands in the market. So the feature I have is kind of like a review or a rating system where they can see kind of the quality measured for each product in the app. Another pain point that they may have is it's kind of hard to come up with pain points since these people don't really care about how much they're spending. But I think efficiency may be another pain point that's specifically for the luxury shoppers because these people with higher income, they may have less time to spend browsing. So to increase the efficiency, we can highlight kind of like already putting stuff in the cart before they arrive, just for them to have a stop and go experience. So putting stuff in the cart for them. for pickup. Checking out is also important. If the app allow them to, scan the items as they're putting them in their shopping cart, and by the time they leave, there's already, payment taken care of, that will really increase their experience. Yeah, so based on my initial thinking, after looking at these two customer segments, coming up with their pain points and some features, we ended up with 5 features. And I think the next step is to prioritize between these features, and then putting them on a roadmap for us to develop this MVP.
Great. So before we prioritization, can you describe all your 5 features? Because we don't have the visual in front of me. I'm taking notes as well. So let's recap quickly. What do you think is top 5 features we need to look into and prioritize?
So looking at the 5 features, I would like to put them back in the 3 lane, which is before, during, and after. So the first one is marketing catalog. This one is kind of in between before and during. And then the second one is providing recommendations based on past purchases or based on the brands that you like. This one will also be before and during you're getting these recommendations. The third feature is providing reviews and ratings for different products. So this one is, I would say, is after and before, because first you want to have people rate them, and then later you have that information to provide to people. And then the last 2 features is checkout and a more expedited experience for them to put stuff in the cart, so they can just take it and go. So that's all focusing on the during. So looking at the 5 features, they really span across all 3 kind of portion of the processes. And then to kind of decide how we want to prioritize them, we can look at the efforts or timeline that they take.
What do you mean timeline they take?
Timeline meaning like how long we need to develop something like that.
Okay.
Or how long we will need for that feature to actually work in the app. And then the second one is kind of the value, which is harder to measure given that we don't have the app, we don't have any data. So we may have to have an initial hypothesis in terms of if we have to rank them, which one matters the most. So going back to our 5 features and our 2 main customer segments, I'm going to make assumption without any data that we have kind of 50-50 between the hippie shoppers and the luxury shoppers. So in terms of these 2 customers, there's not really a clear preference which one we want to target more. Then if I look at the 5 feature, and then I also want to look at their efforts, the value that they bring in, and also just the last column that I have here is some dependencies or other things that we can think of that may impact how they're getting implemented. So feature 1, which is the marketing catalog, that one I would say, and the way that I'm doing right now, because we don't really have any real data, I'm just going to rank them from 1 to 5 based for these 2 dimensions. So marketing category, in terms of efforts, I would say it's quite low. So if we look at it from a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being the best and 5 being, lack of a better word, the worst, I will put marketing catalog as number 1, which is pretty easy, takes the least amount of effort.
Yeah.
And feature number 2, which is providing recommendation, it's also relatively easy, but maybe a little harder because there has to be some algorithm and logics. So I'll put it as 2 in terms of efforts. Review rating, this one I thought it's a little bit harder because it's a network effect. You have to first get the customers engaged to provide reviews for you to actually utilize that feature. So I will put that as like a 5 in terms of efforts. Feature number 4 is the kind of fast shopping feature where people can pre-select and then already have the stuff ready for them in the shop to pick up. I would say that's a 4 in terms of efforts because that's a whole workflow that you're setting up, and you have to also get information in terms of your accurate stock level. And then you also have to have the employees to work with them in order for that feature to actually realize. So actually I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put that as a 5. And then the review and rating as a 4. And then the last feature is the fast checkout. This one,
Crystal, let me tell you, because we only have, for this case, we plan to dedicate 30 minutes up to 40 minutes to finish. We still want to save time to design MVP. Can you quickly give all the scoring instead of walk me through all of them? Yeah, just give me
for sure.
Scoring and let me know which one you select.
Yeah, so the feature 5, I give it a 3. And then if we look at the value, okay, so after I rated every feature of the 5 feature in terms of efforts and value, the goal is to pick the one with the least effort but the highest value. So then the winner will be feature number 1, which is having catalogs to show them a variety types of products, which has the least effort and pretty great value. The second winner would be the fast checkout experience, which is also easier to implement, but very, very high value. And then the third one will be the providing recommendations. So the 2 that I kind of eliminated from this round probably takes the most effort and doesn't provide as much value as the other recommendation. So just to wrap up, our goal is designing an app to enhance customer experience for a grocery store. After looking at our customer segment, deciding whether we want to target customers and employees, and then eventually looking at these features and rank them based on the efforts and value that they bring. I have this initial plan of designing an MVP that focus on 3 main strategy. So the first one is providing personalized catalogs for customers to know about new products. The second feature is providing recommendation based on past purchases or shopper behavior. And then the third one is to have a fast, efficient, and technology savvy checkout experience for the customers.
Great. Can you also do a quick MVP design, some sketch of what does it look like? Pick your favorite solution. The first one.
If I have to pick my favorite, I think it's probably the marketing catalog. Okay. So I have a really easy sketch of kind of 3 steps. That's kind of like 3 steps within the workflow. The first one is you log in through Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever, social media or Google. The second one is what you see as the catalog. And then the third one is to complete the cycle. If I like certain things on the catalog, how do I put it in my cart? Or how do I find information of these products? So the login is very standardized. We just want to make it fast and easy so people don't have to go through a long sign up and creating account experience. The second one is looking at the catalog. I put them into 3 buckets because our goal is to really show them the newest and the greatest and what is the trendiest. I have 3 sections. The first one is seasonal, right? If we think about fall, pumpkin spice latte mix, or all these like really seasonal and hippie products. The second one is new in products that really attract these customers that they probably haven't seen anywhere else. And then the third bucket, I have what's someone else buying. This someone else can be Michelle Obama, or like someone that really identify with your customer segment, and you can later even personalize it based on your knowledge about that customer. So the third one is putting certain things into cart, or just navigating and searching for information. So let's say if I like a particular product in the catalog, I can click into the product and I can see which store near me that they have in stock, or if they're available for shipping or any other options.
I see. One last feature, I really like you design the customer personas, people similar to you, so you can customize it. But for your last one, are you saying that you can make recommendations saying that other grocery stores, our competitors, or you mean the other Whole Food store, assuming it's for Whole Food, other Whole Food stores can get it?
The last feature, which one?
You said you will make recommendations if it's out of stock. We'll make recommendations to say which other stores will have it.
Oh, you mean the last step? I don't know if you've seen, sometimes there's website that you can put in your address and see a list of stores that have that product that you're looking for. So I'm thinking about something like that, because we really want to decrease the time when they know that they like something to when they actually are converted and making a purchase. So having that list available for them can make that experience shorter, so they can just see something, like it right away, and I'm just gonna go buy it, instead of just showing it there but doesn't tell them how or where they can get it.
Awesome. Great. yeah, that's the end of the case. Do you want to just quickly summarize? Give you 1 minute for the summary.
Yeah. So to quickly summarize, giving our market position, our target customers are two types, which is the hippie shoppers and the luxury shoppers. So looking at their current pain points or opportunities where we can enhance their experience, there are three main features that we want to target that really create this holistic experience from before they're arriving at the grocery store, during their time, and after their time. So the three features are having a personalized marketing catalog, creating recommendations based on past purchases, and last but not least, a fast and efficient checkout experience. These three will take some time and data to construct. However, I think these three will be fast to implement and can provide a lot of values to enhance the customer experience for these two target customer segments.
That's awesome. Great. You did very, very well. Great. So let me provide you some feedback in 1 sec. I also need to collect my thoughts as well. The part I really like your entire framework is that you a self-driven process, use your own framework to put customer into different segmentations. And you also describe very well regarding their pain points, and especially your entire framework is very funny. You put them into different names. I found it very easy to understand and follow you, and also shows your creativity. And the other part you did well is that your prioritizations is very clear. You say, I'm going to prioritize based on this and this and this, the top three ways. And I do like your prioritization framework in terms of the value and the efficiency and time and the implementation. I really love it. The best part is that you're thinking very broadly. You think about, okay, you can do before and after, during the many different ways we solve problems for customers. That also shows that as a product manager, you're really thinking about the end-to-end customer journeys. That's also give you a big plus. If we can improve this a little bit more, is that I correct you earlier, but you need to make it clear to your end user, because you start to dive into the customer journey, but you call that the features. I wouldn't use the word features, especially at the beginning, because usually think about customer pain point, who they are, then you design the features. So I wouldn't call the features the whole time. I would call that, I like to think about customer pain point in terms of their customer journeys. Then boom, you're speaking to my heart, because we use those keywords as well. Only use features very late in the process.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about how can we improve this case. First of all, I wouldn't put the specifically customer journey up front before we talk about who the customer are and put them into segmentation, because the specific journey is very different, depends on what type of customers they are. And second, when we talk about the pain points and solutions, and I feel like you match the pain point and solutions at the same time. So when we talk about pain point, immediately come up with a solution. I would list all the pain point first, then list all the solutions later on. I wouldn't match them at the same time. And third is that we came up with so many solutions for different pain points. I would like we prioritize certain type of pain point. Then we come up with multiple solutions to solve the same pain point, so that it's easier to prioritize. If we do the way we did it, looks like we're going like many different solutions for many different pain points. So actually it's harder to prioritize, feels like less structured. Mock interview is one of the good ways to improve your chance of getting a job. So if you're looking for anyone to practice mock interviews with you, feel free to join my secret society, where I have a group of aspiring product managers. We meet together to do mock interviews and discuss product manager interview questions and answers in this group and WeChat group. Krista, thank you very much for doing this mock case with us. And I believe that all the audience has been waiting for this episode for a very long time. Awesome. Thank you for setting a role model for us. So at the end, I do want to ask you, how would the audience get in touch with you if they have any questions?
Yeah, sure. I think the best way to reach out to me is through LinkedIn. You can search my name and then send me a message or connect with me. You can also look me up on Instagram. Yeah, really looking forward to connect with more of you guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Make sure to check out Krista's Instagram. There's lots of fun pictures and videos out there. Awesome. I'm going to see you guys next time. Thank you, Krista, for joining us. See you guys. Bye.